Right, hello guys, and welcome to my review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, which I finally went to see today, and it's my first proper movie review in terms of what's a new movie, and yeah, it's pretty much my first proper film review, so let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll have more movies to review on this channel. Hopefully this is just the beginning. And also, just before I start, can I say thank you? Hang on, just there we go. Can I say thank you to give a shout out to, where is it? Soundman Delumen, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. He sent me some really lovely comments about my Doctor review, and I presume, I'm not sure, he's became my 38th subscriber, because yes guys, you got that right, 38 subscribers. Thanks guys. You know, I really love doing these videos, and if the audience likes it and I like it, then that's absolutely fantastic, because I just love doing these YouTube videos. You know, they're so great to do, and you really make them, you know, worthwhile. You know, all the effort and stuff, and yeah, just hopefully my channel can just get better and better, and well, yes. So anyway, without that further ado, yep, thank you everybody, and this is my review of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which I went to see today, and yeah, let's begin, shall we? So I thought The Rise of Skywalker was definitely better than The Last Jedi. I couldn't work out whether it was better than The Force Awakens. I would say probably slightly better. There was a lot of things that made me groan and grunt at, but there was also a lot of good in it as well. A lot of good things that I really did enjoy. Oh, and by the way, I should say, this review contains spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, then it's best to check this video out once you have. Okay, so basically, Palpatine, Ian McDiarmid, who we presumed dead, should be dead really, died and met his end at the end of Return of the Jedi. Emperor Palpatine, that is. And believe it or not, he survived. It would be okay if he was a spirit, that would be acceptable. But to Palpatine to survive that, I mean, I get it. He could have used the Force or something, but look, Palpatine shouldn't have been brought back for this movie. Rian Johnson's decision to kill Supreme Leader Snoke in The Last Jedi, that was the worst decision ever. And we do know who Snoke really is, and it's really disappointing, to be honest, that Snoke was a creation of Palpatine. Now, you know, Snoke could have been so much more, he could have been even more powerful than Palpatine. You know, there's so much he could have done, and yet killing Snoke just to bring back Palpatine, it's just disappointing. It's not great at all. I mean, it means that Star Wars has to rely on, you know, bringing back a villain who should be dead, at least his body form. I wouldn't mind him appearing in a vision, or his spirit possessing Rey or something, but to have Palpatine in a new body, in a fully new body, as in not possessing anybody, that was the wrong choice. And killing Smoke, I thought in The Last Jedi that was a strange decision. But when I saw Palpatine, and I knew he was coming back in advance, when I saw Palpatine, it made me think that Smoke's death, it just annoyed me. That Smoke was killed off, and then just to bring Palpatine back, for Smoke to be a puppet, I mean, that's just disappointing, you know. Smoke and Kylo Ren, Smoke could have been one of the greatest Star Wars villains, even surpassing Palpatine. He could have even more power than Palpatine. I wouldn't mind if he was trained by the spirit of Palpatine. But Palpatine should be dead. Okay? In my opinion, he should be long gone. And it kind of ruins Return of the Jedi, because everything that Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader did was for nothing. Yes, it did destroy the other Death Star, I get that, so you could say he did do something. But yeah, there's a lot of things that made me groan. That stupid, in my opinion, stupid little new droid, voiced by director J.J. Abrams. I think he was called D.O. or B.O. or something. He was just... I wanted to basically rip the screen because he was very annoying. And BB-8, once again, I know BB-8 is the droid, and I get that. But for R2 and 3PO, although I'm glad this movie, 3PO was actually given something meaningful to do. He wasn't in The Force Awakens, and he wasn't in The Last Jedi. So at least 3PO gets something to do, but R2 gets pushed to the side again. I wouldn't mind if... Mainly the reason... There are two reasons why I hate BB-8. One is that he just rolls around, which makes him just like a comedy character. And two, the fact that he's replacing R2 practically and C-3PO. For those two reasons, whenever I saw BB-8 in the cinema today, he was really getting on my nerves. That and the other droid, and Babu Frick. Oh, he was annoying as well. So, yes. But there was a lot of good. We have the return of Lando Calrissian, played by Billy D. Williams. Lando hasn't been seen since Return of the Jedi, and didn't appear in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So, it was good to see Lando back. Really good to see him back, actually. And one last time, we got to see Han Solo back. Yes, they managed to convince Harrison Ford to come back and do a scene. Because when Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, after his battle with Rey, he sees a memory of his father, like a hallucination. And it's a great scene. You know, I'm really glad to see Han again. And, you know, for Han to be practically the reason for Ben to abandon the dark side, to abandon Kylo Ren. Well, practically literally, because he did throw his lightsaber, his helmet, into the sea, I think. Well, his lightsaber, definitely. I can't remember about his helmet. Okay, so I'll get on the general plot. I'm just sort of cutting it down, you know, bite-sized for the moment, and what bits I liked and what bits I wasn't so keen on. Oh, and of course, it was great to see Wedge again. Wedge Antilles, yeah, great to see him back. And Dennis Lawson, he reprises his role. uncle to Ewan McGregor, of course, who was Obi-Wan Kenobi, as you know, in the Star Wars prequel trilogy. So now that I've broken it up into little bits. Oh, and actually, one more thing. Palpatine's death. I have massive issues with Palpatine's second death, and it was very annoying that he just went out just like that. But I'll get to that in a moment. Right. So, the basic plot of The Rise of Skywalker is the Resistance has found out, so that's Leia, Poe, Rose, Commander Darcy, Snap Wexley, Nia Num. Yeah. They find out that that Palpatine is back. But one of my main issues is, in the opening crawl, it's mentioned that Kylo Ren is finding the search for Palpatine. One of my issues is, I wish that, of course we knew that Palpatine was coming back, but it would be great if the characters got a shock if Palpatine wasn't mentioned in the opening crawl, and then for them to get a shock, hear the word, hear the message, and find out the horror that their faces, that Palpatine survived all that time. I think it would have been really powerful. Because, of course, we knew he was coming back. But for the characters to not know, and then just the shock and the horror, that would have been so much better. Massive mistake, just including him in the opening crawl. Because, yes, I knew he was back, and I was prepared for that. But it's more the characters that I'm thinking that that should have been a surprise. Oh, by the way, if you just hear other audio, I'm just going to test the sound so you can hear me. Right, we'll do the test. Oh, I'm watching now. Right, okay. Oh, right. Hello, Matt Mura. I think Mura. Right. Let's test. Okay. Mura. Yes. The sound is working. Matthew Mura. I would say The Force Awakens is the best of the trilogy. Yeah, for me it's kind of hard because The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, I would say is slightly better because The Force Awakens is a reboot of A New Hope practically. But I realise why JJ did do that, to sort of say this is Star Wars, it's back, and to remind you, well, in case you did forget, what Star Wars is about. And I get that. And, JJ, it was great to have him back for episode 9, because Rian Johnson made some terrible decisions. Even though The Last Jedi, it was bolder than The Force Awakens, which is good, but the decisions and the execution that Rian Johnson did were just dreadful, in my opinion. Most of the decisions in that movie, were dreadful. There were some occasionally good moments, but not much, I have to say. So yes, The Rise of Skywalker. So yep, Kylo Ren is basically searching for Palpatine. So we see the opening scene of him going to Mustafar, which of course is the planet where Anakin literally sort of started to become Vader. Yes, I know Anakin became Vader in name by Palpatine before he even had the suit on, but to me, Anakin isn't Darth Vader until he has the suit on. Until he's injured in the lava. From then on, it's... Sorry, that's just a little hair itching me. Yeah, so to me, until he's in that suit, he's Anakin Skywalker. But anyway, so Ben Solo, Kylo Ren goes to Mustafar, finds a Sith Wayfinder, and meets the long thought dead Emperor Palpatine. Oh, by the way, Matthew, if you're still watching this, do you think that Palpatine, his return, do you think that the characters should have been more surprised, the shock and horror if we heard that mysterious message, the opening crawl comes and then we hear the message and then the characters all discover that Palpatine is back? Do you think that what they should have done? And guys, let's get this conversation going if you want. Do you think that Palpatine's return could have been handled in a better way? So yeah, let me know in the chat below. Okay. So as I said, Kylo Ren goes to find Palpatine. Palpatine basically explains, in his words, "At last, my boy, I have beat every voice inside your head." Now that line is very important because that confirms that Palpatine has been pulling the strings all this time. Smoke was nothing but a puppet, and when Kylo Ren thought he was talking to Vader inside his helmet, that was Palpatine as well. So Palpatine, all the events of the new trilogy that has happened, that has been Palpatine behind the scenes. And that's when I was growing, even though I didn't know, because I'm sort of one of these weird people, right? I read the spoilers and then I go see the movie and agree, did they do the right things, see how it was executed on screen. And yet Palpatine's return could have been handled a bit better, I think. And yet I do have issue with bringing Palpatine back. See, what I would have done is I would have had Smoke and Palpatine in this movie. Smoke wouldn't have died in Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Meaning Kylo Ren wouldn't have become Supreme Leader. But, and it would have revealed what I would have done is Smoke was trained by Palpatine's spirit. He was in contact with Palpatine's spirit using a Sith Wayfinder, and Palpatine basically trains him through his spirit, and we would have seen Smoke more powerful than Palpatine. That's what I would have done. Anyway, once that scene, the next scene, is pretty much, I think, is it Rey next? Rey doing Jedi training with Leia, and can I just say, every time Leia appeared on the screen, it was quite emotional, given that we know that Carrie Fisher, of course, sadly is no longer with us. And yes, she, of course, they were quite limited on what they had to go on, but so I wouldn't say her performance is amazing, but that's because of the nature of the editing and stuff. And if you're wondering if Leia, if she was done with CGI, she wasn't. What they did is they took Carrie Fisher out of the scenes, deleted scenes from The Force Awakens. They used the process called rotoscoping, which, in case you don't know, is the process of cutting a person from a background, masking them, and putting them in a new background. So then what they did, they made Leia's hair greyer and changed her wardrobe, basically changed her clothes. So, so anyway, we get to see Rey training with Leia. We see Rey in the air with all these rocks, saying, "You are." What is it? I am with you. You are with me. And oh no, can't remember the line. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Rey is training in the air, and she sort of struggles, and Leia comforts her, saying, "Don't worry, Rey. I'm sure you'll get there." Basically, yes. Now, pretty much, there's not a lot of Leia in the movie, which is understandable. Well, it would be, but then J.J. Abrams was saying there was plenty of more Carrie Fisher footage that they found that they could have used. And they could have even used footage from The Last Jedi. I mean, particularly when Leia's death. You know, you could have done that for... you could have used scenes from that, because you would have had Leia in a bed, and... yeah. But yes, so yeah, not much Leia, but... and... yeah. But at least it doesn't look creepy, because you know there's footage of her. That is her. So I wouldn't say that's creepy at all. CGI, yes, if they did that, but no, because they used footage of her, it's not creepy at all. So yeah. So yes. So after we see Rey train Leia, I think we see, well, a more of a resistance. Poe tells everybody that Palpatine has returned. Oh yes, sorry. Right, Poe and Finn are in the Falcon, and they're basically wishing they had Rey, because of course Rey is a great pilot. So yeah, you have Poe, Finn, Chewie, I think R2, and 3PO all on the Millennium Falcon, fighting some battle, I presume, as part of the war. And then Pinafo, sorry, Finn and Poe. Oh, that's quite funny. Finn and Poe come back, see Rey, and well, they do argue quite a bit, Poe and Finn. No, sorry, Poe and Finn. Oh dear. Right, yeah, Finn and Poe. They argue. They argue quite a lot and clash a lot. But yeah, they haven't got time to argue. You know, when Palpatine's back and the war's going, there's no time for arguments. So with that, Leia basically says to Rey, "No, don't go, you're not going." And Rey, being the rebel that she is, she completely ignores the general practically, and she goes with Poe and Finn. But then there's a lovely line that it's what you would have done, and I think that's Leia must have realised that had she been Rey's age, she would have done the same. So I think that is fair enough. It's kind of hard for Leia, because you know she knows what Rey has been going through, but she's also got to be a leader as well. So I think it's very interesting for Leia and stuff, and it still feels like she does have an important role looming over the story, even though we don't see much of her as we would like. But you know, even if Carrie Fisher had been alive, I'm not sure we would have seen much of Leia at all, really. Although actually, this is supposed to be Leia's movie, so maybe, well, we just don't know. That would be in an alternate universe anyway. Right, so anyway, yeah, Leia. So Rey, Poe and Finn they go with 3PO, and they go to this festival on this desert planet. Desert, yeah. And they, Rey starts to feel something is wrong. It's the planet which her parents, who we get to finally see at last in a flashback, basically made her escape from. So yeah. And we get this moment. Ren arrives. Oh, sorry, that was just my phone. We get this moment when Rey, with her anger, Chewie is. Chewie is Right, sorry. Right. Anyway, our heroes meet Lando Calrissian. So yeah, then they need to tell Lando they need to get to Exegol, which is the planet that the Emperor is on. And Lando says pretty much okay. Then Chewie gets... they find this dagger. Yep, that translates Sith. C-3PO can't translate it because he can't translate Sith. Yes. So, anyway. Right. So, anyway. Chewie is the dagger. And he's arrested by the, First Order. And Chewie's taken in this ship. And Rey, in her anger, tries to use the Force to hover the ship back, and she uses Force lightning in her anger to blow up the ship. And of course Rey's devastated because she's just realised she's used the dark side, but also potentially have killed Chewie, which I must admit that would have been a very tragic scene. And I have to admit, even though it was great, very happy that Chewie survived, I think Chewie should have died because that would have been a really tragic moment in the movie. There weren't many, so I think Chewie's death should have potentially, he should have I think that Chewie should have definitely died, I think. And yeah, maybe it would have turned Rey to the dark side. I mean, so that would be really interesting, I think. And also, I kind of think Chewie isn't the same without Han. Ever since Han died in The Force Awakens, Chewie, when you think of Chewbacca, you think of him with Han Solo. Without Han Solo, I just don't think it's the same. And I think Chewbacca, I think he, I think it would have been a great end to. I think it would have been a good move to kill Chewbacca off, but they obviously decided not to do that. But I mean, basically with Luke, Leia, and Han, with Luke and Han dead, so obviously they didn't want to kill all the original characters off, which I kind of wanted to happen. I mean, I know that might be controversial because a lot of people don't like seeing the old characters, getting all killed off and stuff. But yeah. So eventually, 3PO is basically, he can now read the translation because this character called Babu Frick, he does surgery on him, and C-3PO, that was scary. C-3PO suddenly has red eyes and translate the language of the dagger. So, and so that was quite a scary moment. And 3PO was his memory wiped. Now, to me, I think 3PO should have died as well. This would be a good ending for 3PO. Because at least he would have done something meaningful. It would have been a good sacrifice. And yeah, that's what I would have done. Okay, so anyway, with that, so 3PO translates the dagger, and then what's it after that? I think. Right. I remember the last few scenes. Right. Oh, yeah, in between all that, Poe meets an old friend called Zori Bliss. Why does Zori Bliss never take her helmet off? What a complete waste of a character if you're not going to take your helmet off. I mean, just bizarre. Why? Why just keep your helmet on? I mean, just seemed a completely bizarre decision. Jannah seems like a good character, but I'm not sure. I didn't really feel anything special for her. One of the biggest mistakes that JJ made, I liked Rose. I thought she was a great character in The Last Jedi and should have been a main character in Episode 9 as well. Otherwise, she should have just died at the end of The Last Jedi. I mean, because Rose was practically a waste. She didn't get much to do. She only had a couple of lines. And, yeah, just a complete waste of time, in my opinion. Rose should have gone with Poe, Finn, and Rey. But then we would have had quite a lot of characters, and maybe it would have become too crowded. I'm not sure, or whether you just have Jannah as Lando Calrissian's daughter, making a well, yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah, but I thought Zori Bliss, Jannah. See, Zori Bliss certainly seemed like a good character. Jannah didn't get any feeling for her really as a character, which is a shame because you always want to get a feeling. You want to either like or hate the character, or at least feel something. But I didn't feel anything. It just felt like she wasn't special at all, and that's kind of disappointing. No offense on Naomi Aki. I mean, she was okay, but Jannah was just, I don't know. She just didn't seem to do much as such. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Okay, I'll have to try filling the gaps. When Rey and Kylo Ren arrive in the Death Star rooms, we see a vision of Dark Rey. Oh, and Leia, Maz Kanata, who returns to being in Episode 7 and 8. Once again, her role, I don't know, Maz just seems like a complete waste of a character. She was good in The Force Awakens, I get it there, but wasteful in The Last Jedi, and even more wasteful here. All she does is just says, if she had a meaningful conversation to Leia, look, this is what they should have done, right? Okay, Leia's death, I don't have a problem with that. What I think they should have done is, Maz, tell Leia, what do I need to do? You're not strong enough, Leia. If you use your strength, you'll die. I know, but it's the only way of getting my son back onto the light side. That's how it should have been done. And Yeah, I also think it was very abrupt. I think Leia's death, just using her energy that would have killed her, to Ben. So, I mean, look, here's what I would have done, and there's quite a lot of instances. Right, so if you remember in The Last Jedi, Leia is almost killed by Kylo Ren, but she uses the Force to pull her through space and back into the ship thing. And in the novels, I don't know if they're canon, but Leia is suffering from the effects of space from the radiation. And to me, Leia should have been at least shown to be applied to be ill and weak anyway. And with her literally her last few strength that she has, then use that, and then because she's using literally the last few strength, then I'm alright with that being Leia's death. But I think mainly it should have been that she was dying anyway, and yeah, that's what they should have done, really for that. And Leia's death, it's so dark, the lighting on it. I mean, I'm not sure why that is. Now, J.J. Abrams was saying there wasn't any footage of Leia from The Last Jedi because there wasn't anything substantial, I think he said. But if they wanted Leia for her death scene, they could have used footage from The Last Jedi. I mean, they could have slowed down the footage from Leia. So for when Leia sort of lies down and collapses, you could have used. Okay, here's another instance. Here's what I would have done. Okay, so as I said, Leia in the books would have been. Oh, wow. Right, anyway. So, yeah, here's what I would have... Oh, right, sorry. Yeah. Right, look, here's what I should have done. Yes. Oh, never mind, I've forgotten. Okay, never mind. And I'll just skip through the end because otherwise it's going to be a very long stream. Palpatine basically drains the energy of... Well, actually, yeah. Right, so the last few scenes. Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, has a hallucination, a vision of Han Solo, telling him that he's basically not too late. Kylo Ren... Ben Solo learns that, throws his lightsaber into the sea, and I think his helmet as well. So practically, in the words of Han Solo, Kylo Ren is dead, because practically Ben ended everything that was Kylo Ren. His lightsaber, his helmet, I think his whole outfit perhaps, although it was probably wise to have a change because he would have been soaking in that clothes. Surely would have needed to slip into something more comfortable to stop Palpatine. Anyway, so once that happens, Ben returns to Exegol to help Rey face Palpatine. Ben takes the Knights of Ren, kills them all. They were an utter waste of characters. I mean, why were they even created? They don't even talk. They didn't even do anything. Just utterly a waste of character, in my opinion. And yeah. So yeah, Palpatine, Rey basically hears the voices of all the Jedi Knights. Is with her, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, Mace Windu, Anakin. We all hear them telling Rey to rise up, and Rey does that. She basically has the two lightsabers and sort of deflects them, and basically, yes, I can't even believe it myself, Palpatine dies the way that he Palpatine dies the way that he perhaps could have done if he did ever die in Revenge of the Sith, which we know he didn't, but yeah. So yeah, so yeah, yeah. So Palpatine basically dies. Yep. Rey, but it's at a cost. Rey is dead. Also, we think, but Kylo Ren does. Ben Solo does the same thing that Rey did on him, and uses the Force energy to heal Rey. Of course, giving his life force up, saving Rey. Ben Solo dies. At the same time as Leia, they become one with the Force and disappear. And yeah, that's basically about the gist of the Rise of Skywalker. Okay, guys, that's it for this review. Let me know what you thought of this video. I mean, I think I've done quite well. I've not stumbled too much. I'm getting better at that, I think. I mean, still stumbling a little bit. But I've managed to remember quite a lot of the Rise of Skywalker. And yeah, it was great to hear the past Jedi. Wedge Antilles, he makes a return now. I don't blame you for not remembering Wedge, because of course he's not exactly that big of a character, but he's back. And in case you don't know, in case you're a bit confused who Wedge is the pilot who helped Luke blow the 2 Death Stars particularly, and he was the survivor, that pretty much the only survivor along with Luke to survive that attack. And to this, it was great to see Wedge in. Surprising that he'd be in an X-Wing, at his age. I mean, I thought Wedge's cameo, I thought he would actually just be, watching on, but gosh, no, Wedge, he was fighting in the X-Wing, so it was great to see Wedge again. And Dennis Lawson can say that he's been in the same movie with Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor reprises his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi during the Jedi Voices. So, yes, so he can tell that to his grandkids, and so can Ewan McGregor, that he was in a film with his uncle. So, that's great for both of them. And of course, it was good to see Han Solo. good to see Harrison Ford, and we learned from JJ that Harrison Ford doesn't hate Han Solo. I mean, he appears at the Star Wars theme park, you know, so he doesn't hate Star Wars or Han Solo at all. He wants Han to do something meaningful, and he does in this film. What Han does, effectively, or his vision, he guides Kylo Ren back to the light. It's a very, very important part of the story, and without Han, I don't think Ben would have ever seen the light of day. Yes, I know that's a bit of a pun and a bad one, but great to see Han back one last time. Great to see Lando, Wedge. Great to hear all those Jedi voices again, which made me smile hearing Anakin, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Mace Windu. Yeah, great to hear them again, and great to see Tatooine. Great to see Mustafar. Less great to see the Ewoks again on Endor. I think it's Endor. But yeah. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to like, share, comment and subscribe to the Unborn YouTube channel, and I will see you tomorrow for my review of Doctor Who Series 12 Episode 3 Orphan 55. So, I'll see you then. Bye bye guys. See ya. Bye.